Hello all, welcome to BioMinds. So today we will discuss another important topic, that is pharmacovigilance. Okay. So today we'll just see the introductory part of the pharmacovigilance, what is pharmacovigilance is. So before going into the pharmacovigilance phase, we need to understand what are clinical trials. So basically these clinical trials are nothing but their research studies. So research studies is to investigate the safety and effectiveness of new medical interventions such as drugs, therapies or devices. Okay, so see the scientists done the research for the treatment of some particular diseases. So the treatment might be a device, or it can be a therapy, or it can be any drug. Okay, so once the research has been done, they have to check that particular treatment plan into the human. Okay, or they have to check the toxicity. Is there any adverse drug reactions which are associated with that particular new drug or not? Okay, so for that study, first they have to conduct the research on a lower organisms such as your microorganisms, or you can say the animal models. So after this research on the lower organisms, that they are known as a preclinical research. So after the preclinical research, if there is not if they have not encountered any serious issues, so they will enter the clinical trials. So that clinical trials will be done on the human subjects. Okay, to check if the drug has been reacting in the human as proposed. That means if the indication of drug is something, it can lower your temperature, that is it's used to uh, for the treatment of the fever. If so, they have to check if it is working or not. Okay, so these clinical trials are basically it's a research studies that investigate the safety effectiveness of new medical interventions such as drugs, therapies or devices in human subjects. So these clinical trials has four phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. Okay, so phase 4 of 1 contain the almost around 20 participants, and phase 2 contains less than 100 participants, phase 3 contains more than 100 participants, and phase 4 is done as after the drug is being marketed. Means they have all cleared these three phases, and then it is safe to use that drug for the general people. So the phase 4 is the drug is being marketed or the treatment is being marketed. Okay, so phase 1, it is used to safety based and dosage levels are determined. Phase 2, in that response to new treatment is recorded and analyzed. Phase 3, the results studied, submit to regulatory agency for approval. Okay, so it is this clinical trials are very well regulated. Okay, you have to take a permission, or basically this company, pharma company or the research institute have to take a permission from the regulatory authorities to conduct the clinical trials on the human subjects, because it's a legal uh, you have to do this legal process. Okay, so once you get the approval, this phase 4, that is the post marketing surveillance, you can also say, or post marketing phase. So this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Here we have to check if that patient, one, there are two ways we have to check it. First is what? To check the effectiveness of the drug, and another one is to check whether the drug is being reacting or not. Whether it is showing any adverse drug reaction or not. Adverse drug reaction means what? Any unwanted reaction. Okay, so for that, we require the pharmacovigilance. Okay, so see, pharma, that is related to drugs or related to any treatment, therapy. Vigilance means to keep a watch. Okay, so we have to conduct the pharmacovigilance in all the steps of the clinical trials. Why? Because all the phases of clinical trials contains human subjects. Okay, so pharmacovigilance is the process and science of monitoring the safety of medicines and taking action to reduce the risk and increase the benefits of the medicines to check whether it has certain adverse drug reactions or not. Okay, so next, comes like why we require pharmacovigilance. Okay, so there was one drug known as a thalidomide, which was, discovered or developed by CIBA, by a Swiss pharmaceutical company in early 1950s. So basic at that time, the basic testing was done on that drug. So the results of the basic testing was, okay. So it was considered not to have any toxic effects on humans, and the drug was being released in the market. So the drug was very effective in for the pregnant women, uh, morning sicknesses. Okay, so pregnant women feel the morning sicknesses during their pregnancy period. So this drug was very effective, and they have the use of this drug was increased among many pregnant women, and even in the many countries such as Japan, Australia, Europe. Okay, so this drug was very effective for the morning sicknesses, so it was very famous among the pregnant women. Okay, so as this pregnant woman uh, took that drug during the pregnancy, so it affects the developing child. Okay, so due to that, there are certain abnormalities were noticed after the delivery of the baby. It's known as the phocomelia. Phocomelia is the condition where deformity of the hands, feet are bound to the child's tongue, absent of grossly underdeveloped. Okay, so you can see the limbs are not developed properly. Okay, next is the disfigurements of the ear. Ear was also not developed. Ocular abnormalities, facial palsies, internal organ damage, congenital heart disease. So these are the very serious adverse effects were seen in the baby after they born. So as a consequences of this, the drug was immediately taken out from the market. Okay, there was an increased number of miscarriages was also reported. Okay, so due to this fact, the US FDA didn't approve or license the use of thalidomide. Okay, after that, the it was stopped. Means due to this, the US government has stopped the use of this. So after that, no abnormalities were seen. So due to this, all these regulatory agencies come together and they have decided we have to, have controlled checking, controlled watch on the drug after being marketed as well. Okay, so due to this, the pharmacovigilance was developed to keep a watch on any drug, any treatment, any therapy during the all phases of the clinical trials, and as well as after the phase 4, means in the phase 4 as well after the marketing. Okay, so this thalidomide tragedy of the 1960s lead directly to the initial development of the systems. Okay, so the pharmacovigilance were developed. So pharmacovigilance is nothing but the science and activities relating to detection, assessment, understanding and prevention of adverse effects or any other drug related problems. So what are the lessons which we have learned from this thalidomide tragedy? So the need of adequate testing of medicines prior to marketing. So there should be a proper research, proper testing should be done. The need for government regulation on medicines. There should be one government recognized authorities that can control the activity of these trials. The need for reporting systems to identify the adverse effects of medicines, so patients can openly uh, you know report any adverse reactions they have, you know if there is any adverse effect. The potential safety implications of unproven marketing claims. Most medicines cross the placenta and this results in fatal exposure. Avoidance of unnecessary use of medicines in pregnancy. that some risk can be successfully minimized. So these are the lessons which we have learned by this thalidomide tragedy. Okay, so uh, the scope and purpose of pharmacovigilance. So the purpose of the pharmacovigilance is to minimize in practice the potential for harm that is associated with all active medicines. Okay, data about all types of ADR. ADR means adverse drug reactions are collected, and they have to analyzed properly if there is any serious event reported or not. If there is a serious event, then the medicines has to be taken off from the market. So what are the serious events? Okay, so the fatal, life threatening, cause of prolonged hospitalization, results in long term disability, all congenital abnormalities. So these are the, if any patients reported this particular symptoms, so that symptoms are known as the adverse drug reactions, and then the report has to be submitted to the regulatory authorities, and they will give you further a process if the drug has to be removed from the market or not. So see, the definition of serious also allows the applications of medical judgment such that the reaction be considered serious even if there is not clear evidences that one of the above criteria is met. So uh, the person who is reporting all this, or who is analyzing all these symptoms from the patient, uh, they have to think, is there any serious event is there or not. Okay, non-serious reactions are important to individual patients and health professionals involved in their treatment, but they can usually be managed clinically and impact less on the balance of benefit and the risk for individual products. Means there are certain non-serious cases that can be minimized. Okay, so the main work of that particular person, those who are analyzing the results, that person has to think before submitting the report. Means if the case is actually serious or not. Okay, so for most medicines serious ADRs are rare, otherwise their detection would result in the drug not reaching the market. Okay, because during the trials only, if there is any serious event has been reported, then the drug is taken out from the market. It is not being marketed only. Okay, so this is all about the introduction of pharmacovigilance. So we will have further lecture on the many topics which are related to pharmacovigilance. So for that, subscribe to the channel. Okay, like, share with your friends. So we will have another lecture in this particular topic for further information. Thank you.